Can't wait.
Andalusia Marine, located in Andalusia, Alabama, your express, all-well stick steering, Polarcraft, Starcraft, veranda pontoon dealer. One call heating, air, and refrigeration, Mr. Stephen Dubb, air conditioning guy you can trust. RMC Mechanical Contractors, located in Chelsea, Alabama. Give us a call for all your industrial contracting needs. Styler Arms, located in Bessemer, Alabama. You can also pick these rifles up at Simmons Sporting Goods. That is a Steyr Scout in that picture. I've been hunting with a pro hunter for about 30 years, guy. One of the finest rifles made. Pick one up today, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alpha Plumbing, Mr. D. Robinson. He's been with us since day one. Call him for any of your plumbing needs, a plumbing guy you can trust. CT Ward Power Sports, Camden, Alabama on Highway 28. Your Excel center console, side console, golf your pontoon, Hustler Lawnmower, and Mercury and Yamaha service dealer. Power Brakes. If you want to get your total boat control under control, get you a set of these. Give old Chad Clifton a call. www.mypowerbrakes.com. All right. We're here, everybody. Got old Eric Cagle from CNN Guide Service. He joined us tonight. How you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing good, man. How are y'all?
Got good. Got John and Jessica, they live from the bus.
From the
They out
bus.
there, they from the bus. I look back, I said, where's that background from?
Yeah,
You got your trailer hitch put on that thing yet, John?
I do.
All right.
Hey, believe it or not, Eric, the guy that built this thing, he would take it down to Daytona and pull a tandem axle trailer with 3 motorcycles on it.
And I got a bunch of buddies that use them as hunting camps. They just move them there, move them back. I mean, they're nice.
Yeah. Jessica said that the name is official. What?
Slab Shack.
Slab Shack.
Slab Shack.
That's good.
Nothing wrong with
that. Heck no, man. Heck no, we got 70 people done jumped on here. We appreciate everybody, man. Everybody saying hey, a bunch of people from YouTube. That's awesome, man. Good deal. Eric, so I guess you've been back from your trip and you've been guiding a little bit. I guess what's the water look like down your way?
Man, it doesn't look very good. I actually talked to John this morning. We had a single trip yesterday with a guy, and I think he kept 40, and the water was just pushing down yesterday, so we had a little bit more clear water yesterday to work with. But today I had a single guy again, and we kept 46. But man, I'm gonna tell you, it's anytime we have 5-6 inches of rain, it gets really tough around here. When Lake Martin up here, when it starts getting muddy, we've had a lot of rain, and man, the river run up here looks like chocolate milk right now. So it's gonna be tough fishing for a week or so until we get a little bit more clarity back up here.
Yeah.
Right. I went to Rome, Georgia for work. We went visited the GP, the sawmill, and I went by Weiss Lake and the Coosa, and it was churned up chocolate milk, headed that way. So,
for people that don't know what Eric's talking about, I've been scuba diving on Kalijah Bridge before and been down 40 feet and still had visibility, because it's Lake Martin normally a clear, a really clear lake. Eric and I was talking about today. It's like they got their glasses all the time, and then when that dirty water gets in there, it takes their glasses away, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, a lot of the lakes, a lot of different lakes around here and, toward Mississippi, Arkansas, they muddy up a lot more than these Clearwater lakes do. So those fish kind of get used to it and they can still see. But, it's like I told John today, I think some of these fish up here on our Clearwater lakes, I think when it gets muddy, I don't think they can see. I mean, I'm sitting there banging the jig off their head. And, when you finally get them to see it, they'll eat it. But, man, getting them to see it's the hard part. And that just goes to show me that they can't see very well when it muddies up here. Very unlike whitefish. I think a whitefish can see better than a blackfish can in certain areas. But, just totally different from some of these other places, over toward Mississippi and Arkansas and Texas where they have muddy water a lot.
Yeah, somebody was asking, what are you doing different, Eric, as far as, that Clear Lake being muddy? What do you do, to people that's trying to go fishing this weekend, in different areas it's normally clear?
But, what I do, I mean, just 100% quite honest, I get far away from. I get in the clearest water I can get to on that lake. There's always a few areas that don't muddy up like the rest of it does, and that's where I go. It's funny, these blackfish this time of year they're schooled up. If you can find them schooled up, you can pop them pretty good. Anytime that water gets murky, they don't school like that. They spread out, and you'll catch you'll have to catch singles and doubles rather than a school of 50. And this happens every year. It's usually in February, but this year it's kind of happened in January. But it happens once or twice a winter here, and my yard still got standing water in it out here. I mean, we had some rain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was wondering how much I guess it really, once it hit the state line on your side, the east side of the state, it was pounding. Because it went on up through Georgia, it was getting it.
Lake Martin was down 7 feet, John. And as of this morning, I looked at the bridge pylon. It's down 3 feet.
Wow.
The water came up almost 4 feet from that 6 inches of rain we had.
Wow.
That's a big lake to come up 4 feet.
That's a pile of water. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because I talked to Big Daddy. He said they got 5 inches. So ain't no telling how much y'all got over there, Eric.
I had a 5-gallon bucket on the back of my truck, and I can tell you this: that there was at least 6 inches in it when I went out. When I emptied it the next morning. So we got some rain here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course, we need rain, but not in that excess for sure. Because it dumped it,
and a little slower.
Yeah,
tomorrow's coming again. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, is it the same kind of storm tomorrow? I haven't paid attention.
I don't. It's not going to last nearly as long. I mean, but we're going to get some rain for sure. It's going to start about 7 o'clock here in the morning and go through about 2. So we're definitely. Hey, now's the time to get it. I'd rather go ahead and get it all over with at one time than muddy it up again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, top 5 just jumped in here. I guess he's still killing ducks. I see. He's a duck commander.
Hey,
top 5 just too.
Hey, Shane, he's finally doing something he might be good at, duck hunt.
Hey. I will say this about JC now, Jameson Carr. Whatever he's doing it. I mean, he don't half-ass do nothing.
He's all in, baby.
He sure is, man. He is all in. I will give James. If he's chasing crappie, he's chasing crappie. He's messing with them ducks. He's planting, and he does do it now. He's relentless. But Eric, you just went on.
He's doing that 100% too.
Oh yeah, hey. If he's talking trash, you're exactly right. Hey, over there at Fish Camp, if I could do a video at Fish Camp, boy, it would be R-rated, but it would be funny now. Woo.
Oh yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
I love the ultimate talking that goes on. It's probably the best quality that you will get anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ain't no doubt.
If you got feelings, you do not go near that camp over there. Nowhere near there.
You leave your feelings in the truck when you come over there.
Yeah, you bet. It is, buddy. But that's what makes it fun, man. That's what makes it fun.
It's a lot like being in the military, but
yeah, very, very similar.
Or working at the steel mill where I worked. Hey, them women would run you home. You hear me? I mean, they would run you to the house for sure. Oh man. Let's see. I guess we can go in. Tony's asking a good question. Then we'll get to talking about your trip and the rod and stuff. Tony, what are some good colors for the muddy water that you're dealing with?
Man, this is going. I mean, both of y'all already know what I'm gonna say. This is I use about 4 colors all the time, and I'll try a dark color first in muddy water. I know that sounds opposite from everybody else, but I'll try like a black and chartreuse or something first, and then if that doesn't work, I go to a bright color like an orange and chartreuse, lime green, something bright in that muddy water. And I think that makes a difference if the sun's out or not. I think when the sun's out, and in my experience, the bright colors work well. And when the sun's not out, I still think a dark color works well in muddy water.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's been so long since I fished some muddy water, Eric. We lost John there for a second. He'll come back. Somebody might have tried to call him. But Eric, I know you just went on a trip. You went towards Louisiana and Arkansas and went out there, and you got a new rod. How long you been designing this new rod that you got coming out?
It's been about a year, man. It's been a long process. It's taken right at a year. We just got the final prototypes a week ago, and I okayed them to be manufactured. So they've been ordered already. I had the pleasure of spending a week last week with Gary Dobbins, the owner of Dobbins Rods, and y'all know me. I mean, I'm a caster. I know what a good casting rod feels like. Gary Dobbins is probably the most knowledgeable guy about a fishing rod I've ever spoke to in my life.
Yes, go into detail what you told us, what you told me on the phone, Eric. I'm sharing some of the pictures.
So just a quick story. The first time I met Gary, I was at a little lake in Texas last year, and Gary came over, and my Potski guy, Chris Schaefer, the guy that I've been with Potski for about 7 years now. Well, 25 years ago, Chris Schaefer was a writer, outdoor writer in California. And Chris used to write stories on Gary every weekend. Gary Dobbins has won over 100 major tournaments, won like 40 or 50 boats in his career. I mean, it's crazy. He's the leading money winner in the West, as they call him. I mean, he's the real deal. But the first time I met Gary was at a little boat ramp in Texas about a year ago. I showed him the HH rod that I designed, the little blue rod that I designed for HH a while back. He picks the rod up. That HH rod is like 45% glass, and they make a lot of dock shooting rods with glass in them because they're more limber. They don't break as easy because you're shooting them. Gary Dobbins picked up this rod and shook it for about 10 seconds and looked at me and said, "That rod's got about 40% glass in it."
God,
and I said, "Good gracious alive!" I mean, he's just very knowledgeable, and that I never had that before on the previous rods I designed. I never had somebody like him to say, "Hey, this is a no-no," or "Let's try this." So he had a lot of input on these rods too, and between he and I think honest to God, I think we got it just right. I think the balance, the tip action. And I'm going to get y'all some when they come in March. I've got 4 of them that I'm guiding with, until we get the rest of them. But I told John today I'm going to get one in his hand and let him play with it too. But, I mean, if y'all know me, y'all know I know what a casting rod's supposed to feel like.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's all I've ever done. But it's John, I hope your outlaw guy don't get mad, but I am going to give you one of those rods.
Oh,
but anyway,
we'll be fine.
Hey, you can keep it in the rod locker, John, until you get ready. But
I'll keep it.
Y'all caught some 280? What y'all caught some big fish last week?
The first fish Gary Dobbins hooked, the first trip of our the first fishing trip of our trip. Gary Dobbins and I doubled up. I caught about a 260, and Gary Dobbins, I thought he had a 3-pound fish. It was a 289. First cast, first day.
Gee.
So I mean, we caught a lot of big fish on that trip. We fished 9 different lakes in 4.5 days, and we were hitting two lakes a day basically, is what we were doing. So we fished a couple of lakes in Arkansas. Several lakes in Louisiana and a lake in Texas. We fished Toledo Bend, which is, partly in Texas too. But, there's a lot of good lakes, over in that area. I was telling Wesley Miller, he guides over there. And I hung out with those guys one night, and we cooked out, and I was showing them those rods and stuff. And, I told Wesley, I said, "Man, y'all are in paradise." I mean, you always hear Louisiana sportsman's paradise, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a crappie paradise. There's so many small lakes and reservoirs there that are just loaded with crappie. I mean,
you told me, man, you didn't hardly crank your big motor. You was just like...
So the last day of the trip, and Wesley told me there was a lot of fish in this one lake there, and it's really small. the last morning, Sunday morning, they wanted to film one more show. Well, I was by myself. Gary left Saturday. We show up to this lake. My boat's on the dock. I'm waiting for Chris to get there. He gets in my boat. My trolling motor's in the water because I trolled to the dock. I see a fish on my live scope while I'm sitting there. As soon as he gets in the boat, I pitch out. You could have caught the fish from the dock. I mean, I caught a 180 first pitch, and we never crunked the motor up. I started trolling out. We never got over 100 yards from the boat ramp, and I caught about 40 fish in about 55, 60 minutes. And some good fish. I mean, not little fish. Really good fish. We caught a couple 2-pound fish. So there's a lot of little places like that though. If I don't know who all's watching, but if you get a chance to take a road trip and go have a good time, Arkansas, just pull up the map and pick out one of those small lakes over there. Every one of them have fish in them. I mean, every single one of them have good fish in them. It's just a good time. And if you want to take a road trip, Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana, in my opinion, is the place to go.
Oh yeah. I was in Gaydon, Louisiana, down there geese hunting and duck hunting, and they said they catch them out of the ditch. That the ditches and the I guess the pass where they drain the water, it goes into those crawdad fields and stuff, and the rice fields, they catch them all in the ditch. So crazy. We lost him for a second. He probably got a phone call. Anytime somebody calls you or does anything on this, it's hard to get back on, man. It'll kick you off of here for sure.
Yep, we got kicked off a while ago.
Oh yeah, it does. Especially when you're using a phone. I cut my phone off. So.
Oh, later on in the show, Shane. This is the giveaway week. We're not doing it right now, but
no. Oh yeah.
We'll announce here in a little bit that we're going to give away a 5-foot outlaw pole here in a little while. We'll go through what you got to do is just post to this www.fishoutlaw.com.
I'll type it in right now, John.
Yeah, and John, what state license do you fish at Seminole? Clifford, I fish both because if you fish up the Chattahoochee side, you need to have a Georgia fishing license. And if you fish over on, the Flint and toward the dam, you got to have a Florida fishing license. So I've been really perplexed by this. And as far as the creel limit as well, so there's certain parts, like you can be over in Georgia and have 30 fish a person, or you can be over in Florida and only have 25. So I try to stick to the more strict of the two. So Jessica and I, we both got Florida and a Georgia fishing license. We fish Seminole, and we adhere to the 25 limit, where we probably could adhere to the 30. Man, we catch enough fish that I don't feel like I need to be changing and keep, more. So I just don't want to get pulled over by a different game and he not think the same way. We've called the state before, they can't even answer the question. So I mean,
yeah.
You need to be safe. You need to have that Florida and that Georgia fishing license.
Oh yeah, we got Eric back. Eric, you were talking about your rod. What length is it, action, and when is it coming out, man?
Man, I got it. I did a 6-foot dock shooting rod, and I did a 7-foot casting rod, and they're pretty similar in action. The 6-footer is just a little bit more tippy than the 7-footer is for shooting. Those rods are supposed to be here by mid-March. So they're available on Dobbins' website right now, dobbinsrods.com. They're available for pre-order right now. So
what are they running on the website?
They're going to be 149 is what they're going to run. But I talked with John about this earlier. And if you fish a lot, or if you don't, when you go in a rod shop and pick up a rod, you can tell the quality of a blank. Hell, Shane, y'all know what I'm talking about. You can tell the quality of a blank when you pick that rod up. If it's light and feels light in your hand, it's probably a pretty good quality blank. But these rods are a much higher quality blank than I've ever had, to choose from before. I had a lot of blanks to choose from this time when I designed these rods, and that makes a big difference when you get to pick exactly what you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the eyes, the wrap, the everything. If you really start studying the rod, and when you lean back on a fish, you can tell if it's a good rod or not for sure.
The handle on these rods, and you'll see when you see one, but we kind of designed the handle on these rods. We took a reel seat, a Fuji reel seat, and we filled the top of that reel seat in with foam. I'm sorry, not foam, but we made it with a cork. So when you hold the reel seat, your hands on a piece of cork there instead of having divots and grooves in that reel seat. So we kind of designed a new reel seat through Fuji to put on this rod, and it's just like I said, I can show you a lot better than I can tell you, but it's a pretty cool handle on this rod. You'll see what I'm talking about when you see one of them. But they're good rods. I'm proud of them. I've been doing this for a long time, and I got what I want. I'll say that I got what I wanted to design. I think I hit it on the head. So if you guys get a chance, check them out. And like I said, they're available for pre-order now, but they'll be here mid-March. So maybe some of y'all will catch a lot of fish on those rods. That's my hope anyway.
I remember coming to Mississippi, and you had several blanks in your hand. You told me, "Hey, I'm trying these out," and you caught a lot of those big whitefish on it, and you said, "Hey, I know you can't just come out with a rod and just throw it on there and put your name on it." I agree with you. You got to catch a lot of fish and break some and catch some fish and say, "Hey, I like this about it. I don't like this about it." And if you're satisfied with it, I'm sure it's going to be a great rod. You said it's on Dobbin's website right now for pre-order, right?
It is. I mean, if you catch just a few fish like John and Jessica catch, you use any rod. If you catch as many as I do,
there it is.
On as many as I do, you got to have a good rod.
Hey, oh boy! But hey, all kidding aside, Eric is responsible for making all three of us a lot better fishermen. We actually paid money to go out with a guide with him. On a guide. I went out with him 4 or 5 times, and till you go out with somebody at that caliber and see what he does with a rod and reel, you don't have no clue. It makes it look easy. And then when you get back in your boat, there's a few cuss words and stuff, but we owe him a lot because, he's helped us out a ton, and hey, it made us better fishermen. And, if you go with me or you go with John and Jessica, you're learning stuff that we learned from Eric, and we've adapted and changed a few things, but most of the fundamentals came from Eric. So I promise you. So
I appreciate that, man. And you guys been doing it long enough now that I'm not any better than y'all are. I can promise you, but I appreciate that. I mean, like I said, y'all know how long I've been doing it, and it's always been a passion of mine, and to make a living doing it's just a bonus to me. That's right. That's just a blessing to be able to do it for a living. It's not always easy, like this week, for instance. But it is a blessing to be able to do what I love doing for a living.
Oh yeah, how many days a year are you guiding now, Eric? People don't understand the volume.
The biggest year I've ever had was 2 years ago. I got 302 trips. Last year was right at 280, and this year ended up being 278. So
that's a lot of fishing, guys. And that's a lot of pressure, man.
23 was 23. This year, who knows? And and all that, the weather and the wind and all that plays into that too. So it varies. 25, 30 trips a year. It could be 300. It could be 250. It varies. It varies depending on the weather every year. But I'm fortunate to have enough people that want to go fishing with me to be able to book that many days, and I'm grateful for it.
Oh yeah, well y'all follow Eric. You see the tailgate pictures. I mean, Big Daddy. Every time I go visit Big Daddy, he says, that dang Eric done posted another tailgate full." It's like he shares the same picture. It's funny.
I do. I have that picture, and then I just Photoshop my clients in there every day.
There you go.
I said, what reel do you use with your rod?
Oh yeah, what reel you using?
What reel?
I mean, Jessica, I got 4 of those rods in my boat right now, and I got 4 different reels on them. I mean, any 1000 series reel, a reel's just like a rod. The more money you spend, the better reel you get. I mean, hell, I mean that's just a fact. I mean, I've got some $230 reels and I've got some $70 reels. I think, and people are gonna hate me when I say this, but I think a Fluger President is a great reel, but there's something about like when I'm reeling casting, there's something about the handles on those Fluger Presidents. They stick out a little bit further. If they would change the handle on a Fluger President, I think a Fluger President for the money would be the best reel in the country. But honest to God, I don't have a certain reel. I use some $80 to $100 Daiwas usually. Is my reel of choice. I like Daiwa reels as much as the rest of them, or if not more than the rest of them.
Yeah, I use some Revos reels, and they're pretty reasonable too. But you can get on up there in some of those reels. I don't even know. I forget Fuegos. I think you can get on up there. That's a good reel. Old Top 5 was reminding you of the Zebco. Now he said Zebco 33 right here.
That 33 put it on him. Hey, and then John had to go out and do me with a cane pole.
Yeah. Ask John what he fished with yesterday.
A PVC pipe. What was it?
I think they froze up for some reason. I don't know why they froze up, but he had to come back in. Here he is. He's coming back.
Yo, I think the bus is like sucking the surface out of the hole.
Eric was telling his story about the Zebco, and then he was saying that you had to outdo him and I said, ask John what he fished with yesterday. He said a PVC pipe.
It's a piece of conduit.
Oh man!
As a matter of fact, I got something outside for Eric.
He's gonna go get it. Oh, it's funny.
He's got his old pocket fisherman out there. I know it.
Hey, exactly. Hey, Big Daddy want to remind me, Eric, this is one of the better stories you tell. When you caught the 16 pounds down Miller's Ferry a few years ago, how you done that and stuff. That is a great story. He caught 7 fish and weighed 1630, wasn't it, Eric, or something?
It was Shane. It's been so long ago. 16 and a half pounds, somewhere in there. It was a special day, and I was by myself with no net man, so it was a heart wrenching day too. But that particular day, that's when live scope had I didn't have live scope. I had a the regular Panoptics on my boat back then,
right?
And I was in Buzzard Roost. I won that tournament in Buzzard Roost, but
that's right.
Nobody else was in there. I just went way in the back in about 6 to 12 foot of water, and those fish were in there trying to. What you got, John?
He's got old Black Betty there, old cane pole. But look what he's got. He's got one of them.
The platinum.
He got a platinum.
I like it.
Oh man.
But no, I went back in the back, and those fish were spawning on top of those stumps, and and some out even deeper. I mean, some of those fish are spawning in 18 foot of water on top of those trees. But there was a male and female on almost every tree, and I figured out early when I pitched in there, if I caught the male, it spooked the female, and so I started pitching a jig in there, and I'd pull the male off, and then I'd take it away from him and pitch it back and catch the female. That way she didn't spook, and I caught some good fish. But I also put a slip cork on that day with just a jig. And, some of those trees that those fish were on were like 1.5 feet, 2 foot under water. And end up putting a slip cork on, about 1.5 feet deep and doing the same thing, pulling the male off. But then I could pitch it back in there and not have to get so close to those females. So that didn't spook them either. So I caught 3 or 4 of my wave fish on a slip cork and a jig about 1.5 feet deep, that tournament. But that man, that as well as anybody, you probably fish more than anybody I know, Shane. But when that river's right and it's on, man, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, Eric's told me a few stumps on the main river that I went and I caught some 2.5 pound fish on already. He told me about some, and I went down there and checked them out. But that river is there's special days like Eric's talking about, but that thing will hurt your feelings too, boy.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, there's a reason I don't guide on the river. I guide on the lakes up here.
Hey,
I'll leave it at that.
EC, I just got a text message. And Dane got to. He got his phone cut off. Chris Collins just sent the picture of you with the pecan pie shirt on.
Hey, he'll never lose that. He'll always have that on me. I look real thrilled too, didn't I?
Yeah.
That was Christmas time, wasn't it, Eric? A few years back.
No, that was Thanksgiving.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
they
done broke these shirts
that's his favorite
out.
picture. That's his favorite picture.
I know it is. He likes it because he's a fellow plus size guy too, boys.
Oh yeah, we're all built the same. No kidding. It's got a couple X's on all our shirts and stuff. We don't go to Abercrombie and Finch. I promise you that. No skinny jeans. That ain't for us. So.
That's a fact.
Oh man.
I gotta tell a quick story right quick if you don't mind.
Go ahead,
I was
bud.
out on the lake today. It was, man, like peanut butter out there, dirty. Well, I kept seeing his boat get closer to me, and finally, I was like, "Dang, I guess he's coming to talk," you know. So he came over and we were talking, and he said, "Do I know you?" I said, "I don't guess." I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "My name's Johnny." He said, "You're on that show with that other guy." I said, "My name's John Farmer." He said, "Yep, Shane Jones." I said, "Yep." We do it. He said, "I can't ever catch it when y'all doing it live." And he said, "I'm having trouble with this live scope." And so I ended up getting on the boat with him and got him set up. And I just hope that we all could be this fortunate. I got to talking to him. He's 76 years old and still fishing by himself.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Johnny Cardwell. So, buddy, if you listen tonight, I hope you made it and finally found us live. But if we all can be so fortunate to be fishing at 76 by ourselves, I mean, it'd be a blessing.
I agree with that 100%. I'm glad you're still getting after him, Johnny. Like John said, I hope we all still getting after him when we're 70. I hope we make it to 76 first.
Hey man,
there you go.
When we're your age. For sure.
Somebody was asking Eric what lakes you got on. You got a lot on the Coosa River chain down through there, don't you? Is that where primary you do?
This year I've been mostly on Martin, but I got on Jordan and Mitchell too. That's my main three lakes.
Right.
Honestly, this year more Martin than anywhere. But in the last 7 or 8 years, I used to rotate every 2 days. I'd fish Jordan, Mitchell, and Martin. Regardless, I'd rotate, but Martin's 44,000 acres, and it's just the bite's been really good. It's been one of the best falls and early winters I remember in a long time on Martin. So I really hadn't had to go anywhere else. I was on Jordan a couple of days 2 weeks ago and had 2 really good trips over there too. But Jordan, Martin, and Mitchell.
Yeah, y'all made a video you and Chris did for Potski on Jordan, man. They caught some big ones, man. I think it's out, isn't it, Eric? Didn't I watched it on your page?
Yeah, it's out. They Jordan's been in and we talked about it before. I think all these lakes cycle. I think the Coosa River, I think it's cycling. The size is cycling back up. I think that from what I saw a couple of weeks ago over there, the size is back. I mean, I think I had a little over, right at 15 pounds with 7 fish, and that was filming. That wasn't really fishing hard. That was, just filming a little bit. So we caught some really nice fish. I think a 239 was our big fish over there, but we caught several 2-pound fish there. So it's getting back to how it used to be.
Eric,
Scott, go ahead.
This upcoming weekend, they're gonna have that Alabama Crappie Trail tournament there on Guntersville. They got the same rain that we got. I think it's going. They wanted some rain to give it some color, but it's been clear all summer. What do you think those boys gonna do up there? I mean, it's 5 fish, not 7. But what are you thinking?
Man, John, I'm not real familiar with Guntersville. I've never fished a tournament on Guntersville. I've been there. I think I fished there one time, and it was way back when I used to duck hunt a lot. We took a boat, and one day the duck hunt was bad, and we went and fished. Caught a bunch of fish under one of the bridges there, but I'm not real familiar with that system. I know it's a river system. I would imagine that it's going to be tough. I'd imagine that water's going to be high and muddy. But, some of those local guys that know those few areas, like I was talking about earlier on Lake Martin, I know those 3 or 4 areas on Martin that don't get quite as muddy as the rest of the lake. And I think some of those local guys may have a upper hand in that tournament.
Yeah, I guarantee you that baby's up.
I agree with you on that. The bridges always have fish up there. I mean, every time I've ever been there, But the problem is, like, tomorrow is going to be a bad weather day, and some of the guys will go out there pre-fishing, and they won't see everybody on those bridges. They think they have it figured out, and they'll get there and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, where'd all these boats come from? All these people."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those quick story about Guntersville. The time that I did go there, we get there before daylight. Y'all know me. I'm gonna be there at daylight. I'm an early bird. But we pull out to South Saudi Bridge there, and I remember it like it was yesterday. They had fires going on the bank. They were out there. They stayed there all night and waiting to fish, waiting to save that spot on the bank for the next morning. And we get out there, and there's several boats there. Well, there was a guy there that was a city councilman, and we got to talking to him. He had a old piano clamp. They all fished those bridges. He had a piano clamp made to put on that bridge where his boat would just sit there. I mean, they got it figured out up there now. They do a lot of bridge fishing.
They're serious about that.
There's a guy up there that sells, like, boards that go on those I-beams. He's got every bridge measured, so you can tell him which bridge you want to fish. He'll sell you a set of boards for that bridge. I mean,
that's crazy,
like, I want to go fish the creek. I want to go fish this. He's got it all measured. I mean, that's how serious.
They serious.
Yeah.
They serious about them bridges. Somebody's asking a question, and it reminded me. Mike Fleener said, "I'm looking to add mapping to my 1022. What units are you running? I know what boat you're running now, Eric. You can describe that. A lot of people want to know what equipment you use." So,
Mike, honestly, the only Garmin I use is for live scope. I have a Humminbird up front and a Humminbird in the back, and I'm a Humminbird guy. I think Humminbird's got the best side scan on the market, so that's what I use. But I also think Humminbird's got some of the best mapping, on Lake Master that you can shade. Shading my depth is one of my key tools especially when I'm tournament fishing. When I find those fish in a certain depth of water, I like to shade that depth, and that's what I concentrate on. But, I'm not real familiar with Garmin's mapping, to be honest with you. I'm a Humminbird guy, mapping and side scan, and that's what that's all I use is Humminbird. I know Lawrence has got some pretty good. I think CMAP did a lot of stuff for Lawrence here in the last year or two, so they have some good mapping too. But I'm a Humminbird guy, so
right.
I can't answer your question about Garmin. John and Shane, one of y'all might be able to, but I'm not familiar with Garmin's mapping.
Yeah, that's right. Tell everybody what you do with the shading real quick while you're on that topic, Eric.
Well, I mean, the shading comes into play, in several different ways. I mean, for safety, one, I mean, you can shade, depth areas. I keep my shallow water always in red. Red's no, red stop for me. So, you can shade whatever you want to shade in different colors. I mean, you can shade 10 to 20 feet, 20 to 30. You can make your shallow water highlight all the way up to 20 foot if you wanted to. So, you can shade any depth area at any lake that's mapped that you want to. And, the new VX cards and stuff have a lot more features on them than the old cards do. But the VX card, I like it on some lakes, and honestly, on some lakes, I like the old card better. So I've got one of each, and I just kind of play with them depending upon what lake I'm on.
Right. I know we discussed offset last time. When I came to visit y'all at Grenada, it was 3.5 foot down, and you offset my unit. So, hey man, this will help you. This is what the lake level is. We're gonna offset it. So that's a good feature too, for sure. Safety wise, no kidding. So,
hey, what the things I've seen comparing, like I help some people out through the boat dealership as far as setting their stuff up. The Humminbird, it seems like at a lower speed, the map will adjust your orientation or forward view rather than some of the other maps. You understand what I'm saying? It might take the Garmin map a little bit longer to decide your direction of travel.
It refreshes quicker.
There you go. It refreshes quicker. There you go. That's the way to put it. Your direction of travel picks up quicker with the Humminbird.
Yeah. I know Garmin's got that vision map. I don't know a lot about it. I think it's real, it's real detailed if you know about it, but I hadn't messed with any of them. So I'm sure that 8616 I have has you probably put one in and really tune it in, but I haven't experienced none of it. So
man, I was at Wetumpka last week and Stephen Navarre was showing me some of the new Lowrance maps. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all now that they're pretty slick. I just hadn't had the chance to use them, but as far as him just showing me some of that stuff in the parking lot, it was pretty neat. I mean, Lowrance has come a long way on their maps too. That's
good. Yeah, well, Tomka, that's one of your sponsors. You got the hoodie on now, so for sure. I talked to Jerry. I talked to Jeremy and Steve and them sometimes on the phone, and they good folks, man. We're gonna have to give a rod away here.
If you need any help, with any electronic stuff, I mean, those guys, they'll help you whether you bought anything from them or not. If they can help you with something over the phone, give them a call. They'll be glad to help you. They're good folks over there, and they do a heck of a job rigging a boat. I mean, y'all seen some of their work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Jeremy's always smiling, no matter what's going on.
Hey John, that's as I like to call him. That's old J-Bone.
J-Bone. Okay. I talked to him last week. I carried a guy fishing Saturday down at Demopolis, and he's got a boat exactly like mine, and he was writing down all my stuff. And he said, I'm gonna get all this. And I called Jeremy and said, hey, Mr. Danny's fixing to be calling you. This is what he wants. And Jeremy said, I'll take care of him. I said, hey, he'll be coming. So
he's a good dude, man. All those guys are good folks over there, man.
Let's see, man. Make sure I didn't pop any questions, man. There's so many people tuned in here. I'll tell
Jessica, you got something you need to say to me? I'll see you over there whispering. We'll talk later in private. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, after the show. You have to pay extra to see.
It's time. Well, what number? Number what?
Oh yeah, how you go?
1 through 10.
1 through 10.
Lucky number 7.
All right, Rod giveaway number 7. So right now,
I'll type it in and I'll let it update and I'll count them, guys. So there it is, www.fishoutlaw.com.
www.outlaw.com. Hey, everybody, please understand that just because it shows up on Facebook, you are number 7, that doesn't necessarily mean you're number 7. It's broadcast.
I'll refresh it twice, guys, and then I count it. I'm refreshing it right now because I'm the host. It updates me first. So, and believe it or not, when the show's over with, all these comments get shuffled. So I have to go through there and like them and maybe answer some questions that we didn't get to answer. But I'm refreshing it twice, and number 7 is going to be the winner. But hey, I promise you, I'm not cheating nobody. We had some guys send us messages and say, well, I was number 7. I said, look, guys, I'm counting them. I promise. So
what are you giving away?
A 5-foot Outlaw rod. We every other week went away.
That's a great. I've got one of those rods here that John gave me a while back in Mississippi. That's a great little rod.
Yeah.
I'm fixing to get to the comments. I refreshed it big time, so let me get to these comments.
Eric, when are you going over to Mississippi?
This in the last couple of years in the spring, I just run trophy trips over there. We just try to catch a big fish. We don't keep any. We don't clean them. The last couple of years, I've only been there for a couple of weeks. I had a bunch of calls, this past spring. So I'm going to be there for a month this year. I'll be there from the 24th of February through the 24th of March.
Okay.
So,
yep.
I'm not going to do it next year. I like fishing in Alabama in March too. So I'm going to stay home next year, but I'm going to do a month over there this year.
You going to miss me and Shane's over there, I guess.
Yeah, we're coming the 21st, 22nd, I think.
Yeah. I've got and I may be there. I've got some guys that are mixed, whether they want to fish here or there. So if they decide to fish there, I might be there around the 20th. I don't know. Hopefully, I'll get to catch y'all.
I got a winner right here. I counted them up. Mr. Philip Dodson. He's always tuned in. He watches a bunch. So.
All right, Philip Dodson. Send Shane or I a message, and we'll get your rod shipped out to you this week.
Yeah, buddy. They typed it in. Yeah, man. That's good stuff, guys. Yeah. What was I going to ask you, Eric? I can't remember. You was telling me you're not going to fish a ton of tournaments this year. I think you said you may fish a few.
No, my plan, we built a house about 15 months ago, and I got to laughing when I was telling you about it. We've been here 15 months, and I think I've been here 7 of those. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the year off. I'm not gonna fish any trails next year. If Wally's tournament turns out, I'm gonna fish it, and it's gonna be in Branson, a lake that I think's one of the prettiest in the country. I'm gonna go fish it, and those guys from the Midwest Crappie Alliance are having theirs at Sandusky Bay in Ohio, and I like going new places. So those are the two that I'm gonna fish, and
Right.
I'd like to support Alabama Crappie Trail here, but I'm just booked up. So if it works out where it rains me out on a Saturday, I'll go support those guys. But other than that, I mean, just those two big ones.
Yeah. How far are you booked up right now, Eric? Because I know people are going to ask, and so.
I got 6 days left in April is what I got left.
There you go, guys. Because somebody's gonna wonder. You get an opportunity to go with Eric, you better jump on it. So, message Eric, like I said, on his Facebook page or his number. I think your number's on your page, isn't it, Eric?
It is.
Your phone number. It is. That's what I thought. So they can text you and stuff. So that's good stuff, man. Congratulations.
Yes,
Phillip.
I don't appreciate you not having my hat on tonight.
Just
We'll talk about that later too.
hey, you saw when we cooked camp stew the other day. She had it on.
I saw it. Hey, I saw the paddle standing by itself in there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I guess if we miss you in Mississippi, I just need to put quarts in the freezer.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Shane. We saw it all cooking, but I sure hadn't tasted none of it yet.
Hey, that's right. Hey, one thing about Grenada, you can't control them fish, but we eat now. Whoo,
Jay,
son, it's serious.
That rascal right there can never say that he ain't got anything to eat.
I guarantee you.
He takes care of me now. If he cooks some gumbo, he knows I love gumbo. He always brings me some. It's always good.
Eric jumped on here about a minute before the.
If y'all didn't know, I'll tell y'all now. You heard it from me. Fulmer thinks he is a Cajun. Okay, I'll go and throw it out there. But now he cooks like a Cajun. He cooks really good. He cooks like a Cajun, so we'll let him slide with it.
Every time Eric jumped on here about a minute left. He said, man, he was cooking for the show. He's always out there grilling and frying fish in that frying saucer. He's probably sold more frying saucers than anybody in the country. I guarantee you he's out there cooking with that little thing when he has customers staying with him, especially.
People don't know this. Me and Shane.
Dang, we lost him.
We lost him, right? What did he come out here? Somebody tried to call him.
There you
are. All right, so people don't know this. Me and Eric and Shane, we all like to cook. So we're like a gadget competitive friendship.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So like somebody will get something, and the other one has to get it, whether it be pellet grill or this new thermometer or what. I saw this new thermometer the other day, and I sent EC a message. I said, "You seen this thing?" He's like, "Oh, I've had that for like 6 to 7
Yeah.
Hey, I was gonna send you a picture of my new homemade potato chip maker until I about sliced my finger off with it last week.
Yeah. Those mandolins, man, my little nubs, my fat fingers, I'll shove it right on in there. I'm telling you, it's bad.
I did it pretty bad last week. We were making homemade potato chips, and I was out there slicing, and one of those potato chips was my dang finger.
I hate that thing. I hate that. I hate doing that, man. I sure do. So, guys, that's tuning in. Eric's got a new Dobbins rod. 2 rods coming out, a 6-footer and a 7-footer coming out in March. You can pre-order them right now on the Dobbins website. Eric Cagle Signatures Rod, is that what they're called, Eric?
It's called an EC special for Eric Cagle.
EC special. There you go.
That's what we named them. But yeah, they're on the website, and like I said earlier, you can pre-order them. They'll be here. They should be here the 1st to middle of March.
That'll be good times, man. That'll be good times when it comes out. For sure. I wanted to, y'all catch up on the show. Eric show, he shared several tips on here, and we appreciate him always coming on here. I talked to him the other day after his trip. I said, man, you need to come on the show, talk about your rod, because it's going to be coming out. And for sure. Let's see, man. Go ahead, John.
What was the biggest fish y'all caught on y'all's trip, Eric? Is that 289?
Yeah, but John, when I go places like that, if it's a small lake, I don't ever name the lakes on
Yeah,
the videos.
I got you.
I won't call them out because some of those guys that live locally, if you say the name of those lakes, there'll be 800 boats there, and
Exactly.
I don't want to be that guy that they get mad at. But anyway, one particular lake over there, and you probably know which one I'm talking about, but we had probably 15 fish over 2.5 pounds in the first morning we were there. It was unbelievable. I mean, and we've done that before there, but we went last year and it wasn't as good. We caught a lot of fish, but we didn't catch that size fish, and we let all these fish go. I mean, we kept some fish this year at Toledo Bend because the guy staying there wanted some, so me and Gary kept him some from Toledo Bend. But every other lake we fish, we release all those fish when I go on those trips. But we had Gary caught a 289. But,
that white or black, Eric?
A blackfish.
Oh, is it the one he's holding right here? I shared the picture here. Is that the one he's holding in his right hand right there?
Yeah, in his right hand. That's a 280. The one in his left hand is a 270 something.
God, them fish are so healthy.
So do you know Gary Dobbins is bigger than I am. Gary Dobbins is about 350 pounds. He's a big guy, and that just shows you how big those fish are.
Ooh, there's some hammers right there.
So Eric, Jessica and I and some others, Shane's gonna be a part of the trip. We're gonna leave for 8 days in February, and it's all about going to see how big a fish you can catch. If you can catch them back home, where you can eat them. When you go out on one of those big fish trips, there's no need to keep those big fish. You're going there for the experience of, hey, how big a fish I can catch. You're not gaining anything by keeping a 2.5 pound fish.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're taking away from a resource and the genetics of that fish. You know what I'm saying? That's put back in that water. So we're going to go out there, and all those days we're not going to come back with any fillets. We're just going out there to to experience catching big fish.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you hit it on the head. I'm a firm believer. There's a lot of lakes, like take Toledo Bend for instance. Man, you can't. I don't care if they keep every fish they keep out there. Lake Martin here in Alabama, where I fish a lot. You're not gonna. All you're doing is helping the size of those fish when you take them out of there because there's so many of them. But there's a lot of little lakes over there in Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, and all over the country. Some of those smaller lakes that are special and have big fish in them, you can hurt those lakes. I mean, it's been proven. So, yeah, John, I agree 100%. When you're going on a fun fishing trip over there and, everybody catches fish where they live at because they know those lakes the best. So they catch fish. So, when you go on these trips, people think a lot more of you if you don't just go over there and try to, rape a lake. I mean, let's just be honest. You can do what you want to do and have a good time, without doing that. And those bigger fish in those small lakes, in my opinion, need to be let go. But that's just my opinion. Everybody has their own, and I respect theirs too. But that's just my opinion on it. But yeah, there's if we want our kids and grandkids and all to enjoy it too, like we get to, then we probably need to let some of those big fish go in those small lakes.
Hey, I'd rather fry up 11-inch fish every day than I had a big fish.
Exactly. I mean, you have to take the fillet and cut it in half to make it fry up right, or it's going to be soggy. I mean, that's what I tell people. I had a guy message me tonight, and he's wanting to make some molds for some big fish, and he said if I catch anything over 16 inches, here around locally, to maybe I can get it to him because he said the molds, these fish are getting fatter and the molds, that he has is not equivalent to some of these fish. So I told him if I did, I would, just to help people mount them, get replicas. That one fish may save a bunch, So, but I let them go too. I let several 230s go on the river, and that's a pretty big fish on the river.
Yep.
And people don't realize that crappie, it spawns one time of the year. That big mama that you let go, she can make a lot of babies. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
that's why and I know we're running out of time here, but
No,
real
you're good.
quick, y'all heard me say earlier, and that's my choice. I just said it earlier, but when I go to Mississippi in the spring, I run a trophy trip. We don't keep all those we don't keep all those females. I don't keep any fish in the spring because the males are just as important. They got to go in there and do their thing to fertilize those eggs and everything too. But I don't keep any fish out of Grenada Lake in the spring. If somebody catches one that they want to put on the wall, that's their choice. But we do encourage them to get a replica made of that fish. For instance, last year we caught 12 fish. Yeah, 12. Yeah, we caught 12 fish over 3 pounds. One of those fish was kept, and it was kept by a buddy of mine from Alabama who has never in 50 years caught a 3-pounder, and he wanted it. And I said, hey, man, that's your fish. You do what you want to with it. But, 11 out of 12 3-pounders were released back in the lake, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I've at least done my part to make it where you guys, kids and grandkids can enjoy that in the future,
Yeah, do you measure the length and the girth of these fish, Eric, when you let them go?
Yeah, you got it's weight, length, and girth is what they
Okay.
need for
I know
a
people ask the
replica.
question. I
And,
figured, I
and
knew that's what it was.
that's it.
Shane, another thing about over there though, like Jessica and I, we released 2 that was 3 pounds. I didn't want my fish
Allegedly.
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 It's on film. It's on film. But
I'm messing with you.
we didn't want ours to really look like they look when they come out of the water. 'Cause those fish over there are so pale from that muddy water.
Oh yeah,
They
that time of year. Yeah, yeah.
don't have any barring at all. So take a good picture and talk to your taxidermist going to do your replica and go from there.
A lot of times, John, what I'll do on those trophies. Well, I ain't a lot of times, every time. I'll have my live well treated and full when I get out there. I'll fill it up and treat it because that water's already cold, so you don't have to add any ice. You just fill it up and put a little treatment in it and run the aerator. But when we catch a big fish, we put it in the live well, and we leave that fish in there because it's not going to die. I got it treated, and we go out throughout the day, and if they catch a big one, we replace it. But putting those fish in that live well, even at Grenada in that muddy water, when you put them in that live well, they'll color up a lot. I figured that out. I mean, y'all know that, but I figured out, if you put them in a live well for about 30, 45 minutes, that's your picture, and then we get them back out and take a picture later.
Okay,
They
that's a
do,
good tip. I didn't realize that.
they still have, they still are, like John said, pale, from coming out of that muddy water, but they will get the stripes and color up some after they've been in your live well for a little while.
That's cool, man.
It's
That's
something
about
about
the only.
that muddy water just makes those fish lighter. I mean, it's like where Eric fishes a lot, in Alabama, those fish are more vibrant colored, because they're in that clear water.
Those
Yep.
ones they caught out there, they're so green. I mean, I didn't get the picture, Eric, off your page, but I don't know where they were, where you were but man, those fish were so green and black. It was unbelievable. How
Well,
bright.
a lot of those blackfish out in Arkansas, Louisiana, they really look like a Florida fish. They're
Right.
real dark, but they have a yellow tint to them. And I've got some fish on my wall that I caught out there a few years ago, and they're the same way. But they have John knows what I'm talking about. He's been out there several times, but it's a darker fish, and they have a yellow tint. And the St. Johns River fish look very, very similar to those,
Mm-hmm.
and that all has to do with the watercolor. If it's a
Right.
dark watercolor, dark clear watercolor, that's how those black fish come out.
Yeah, you got them mounted by. Go ahead,
EC,
John.
we can't mess around about it anymore. We talked about it before. California.
Golly.
I was supposed to be out there. The trip that we just went on this past week was supposed to be in California, but after I researched it and talked to Gary, because Gary lives in California. Gary has a house at Lake Fork, and he's from California. That's where Dobbins Rods originated at. We were going to go out and fish Clear Lake and a few more, but man, this time of the year out there, the wind forecast sometimes 30, 40 miles an hour.
Ooh.
And and it's elevated. It's up in the hills there. So I mean the temperatures can get crazy cold too with a 30, 40 mile an hour wind. And I didn't want to chance it. If I'm gonna drive that far, I'm gonna do it at a good time of the year.
Yeah, I've seen some of those fish. Golly, 3.5 pounds. I mean,
just know my money's on the table when you get ready to go.
Well, we're going next year. I actually talked to Gary about it on the trip here, but we're gonna go. We're gonna do a California trip. I think I sent Shane I don't know if I showed Shane or not, but there's a fish out there called a Sacramento perch, and man, you got to look it up. It's got some crappie in it. It's a crappie, but it's like checkerboarded. It's the coolest looking fish you ever seen, but they're just like crappie. They eat crappie jigs. They're just like a crappie, act just like a crappie, but they have a lot of them out there, and they get big too. But look up Sacramento perch when you get a chance. There's a lot of those out there too. I got to catch one of those before I pass on.
She's already on it.
Man,
it's pretty cool.
It's been a great show, man. Eric, I want to thank you, man, for coming on and talk about your rod and stuff, buddy. It's always good to talk. I talk to you a lot anyway, but not here on the show. But
I appreciate y'all having me, man. Y'all done a good job with this thing, and I see it's growing, as it should. I mean, y'all put some good information out, except for Jess every now and then. But we'll talk about that later too. But
yeah.
But no, y'all done a great job, and I'm proud to see y'all growing like you are.
Oh yeah, we'll continue to have you on here as when your rod comes out in March, you need to come back and we'll talk about it. And again, Dobbins rod, you can pre-order it, the EC special. You can pre-order it right now on Dobbins website, 6-footer and 7-footer.
Shane, she's mad because she didn't get one question from Eric.
I'm gonna ask her privately later.
Yeah, hey, after the show. That's awesome, guys. Hey, Philip Dodson, congratulations winning the Outlaw Rod. Message me, man. I'll send your address to John and Amos. Amos was asking earlier, man. I'll get back to some of these questions, guys, that you have on here. John and I will, man. Eric, thank you. Hang out when I end this thing, and we'll see y'all next Thursday too, buddy. Appreciate all y'all tuning in on YouTube. See y'all next Thursday, 7 p.m., guys.